Warm welcome. Today we are going to talk about how to extend existing KubeRocketCI templates and pipelines in order to introduce your own frameworks or languages, and how those changes should be reflected inside the platform objects. So let's start. I've already prepared instance of the platform, so I'm going just to sign in. What we have here, out of the box, you can use any of the component from the marketplace, and these components will provide you with all the stuff like the baseline code and the pipelines, which is used to build an artifacts from this code and publish to whatever places you want. In our case, we already have some component which is based on Go, and it is Gene framework. Here it is. And now let's try to add some new component which the platform doesn't support out of the box. I mean, some framework which is not yet on the platform. Let's go to the component page and create this component. Let it be, for example, some application which we are going to deploy inside the Kubernetes cluster. And then one important thing, that in order to have something custom, you shouldn't use from template approach, because this template doesn't exist yet. You also shouldn't use import project, but you need to rely on the clone project approach. So let's go this way. Then we need to provide repositories from where this component comes from. I've just go through the GitHub and found, for example, Django as an example, since our platform doesn't provide the pipelines for this specific framework. But let's try to check out how we can enable this custom framework in our case. So let's provide here Django baseline URL. Then we have a number of different Git servers connected to this specific platform. I'm going to use GitHub just to simplify the things. Then we use EDP robot account, and then let's call it the same, or let's add like SK Django, for example. Django. So with this approach, we're going to, let's call it the same, let's put the description. And the next important step is that for this specific type, we don't have like Django framework, as you can see here. So we can use this trick, like other. Here we can put, for example, Django, and the build tool. It can be anything like poetry, or we can just put Python here as it is, yeah. And then push the next button. Then we need to define the default branch. We can check that here we have like main branch, so we can keep it as it is. We can also use, let's use, for example, EDP versioning approach. We don't need actually for today's demo any commit message patterns or integration with Jira. So let's create from this point. Now code-based operator is doing all the stuff. As you can see, here is the component we have. So we can go to the page of this code base and actually to check how it looks like in our code. As you remember, we used EDP robot account, and this is the application we just provisioned. Here it is. It has the same structure, except our code-based operator just did some trick with pushing deploy templates, which we are going to use for Kubernetes deployment, and maybe that's it. It doesn't mean that everything will work from the zero shot, but we can try to achieve it with another steps just to make the things up and running. So returning back again, when we want to build some component in KubeRocketCI, we have two pipelines. The first one is review pipeline, which is triggered against your changes for or making PR or merge request. And the second one is the build pipeline, which is triggered when some code is merged inside your integration branch or main branch if you're like running trunk-based development. So for example, if we run the build pipeline for existing component, it has already existing pipeline, like in our case Gingo, yeah. So we can see that the pipeline for this component looks in this way. Like code review pipeline consists of this specific step, and the same is true for the build pipeline. It consists of these steps. Now, when we trigger build pipeline, this Tecton pipeline is triggered. So we are starting pipeline run, which is reference to this pipeline as a template. Yeah. So here it is how it looks like when we run this stuff in a progress. So we can jump in at any point of time to this pipeline and check specific values or specific steps of these pipelines and also check the logs. But now let's try to do this time with the Django approach. So let's return back here. Let's go here. Let's return back here and try to trigger pipeline. The pipeline run was successfully created, but what we see here is that actually it is failed. So it is failed because this pipeline doesn't exist out of the box on the platform. So we can return back to our Tecton and to check it. As you can see, it has status like couldn't get pipeline. Bearing this in mind, we can align existing pipelines to the approach we have for rest of our components. So we just need to create a pipeline with this name, and this allows us to trigger pipelines for this specific custom component. Yeah, so we can do this trick actually, and we can pick existing pipelines in our platform. So we just switch to pipelines tab and check what we have from the Python side. Yeah, so let's increase its maximum. So we need Python stuff. As you can see, here it is. So we can pick any of these pipelines as the baseline, or we can just create it from scratch. But just to simplify the things, we can review this pipeline and create the same, but with the name which is required for our case. So what we can do, let's just to simplify, copy this stuff, and I will create a new pipeline. Yeah, so let's for example go to tmp test. Now let's for example create our let's for example create my pipe. Let's call it my pipe. Now let's insert stuff here. We need to return back here. So, and actually we don't need like annotations. We don't need creation tab. We can actually remove labels, but we need to define the correct name for this pipeline. So let's return back to our pipeline runs and check that our platform expects that the pipeline name should be in this format. Yeah, so putting this value here, you can use an approach how you can customize or put any pipeline you need. So we just change the pipeline name, and let's leave it as it is for now. Yeah, let's save it, and now let's create it. Sorry, I have some issues here. Yeah, I've just put something weird, so I just remove it. And now let's create it. So the pipeline with this name was created. We can actually go to pipelines, and we can find it here. It can be somewhere on the page number 5, but again, we can use this approach. But let's try return to the platform and to again start the pipeline. As you can see, the pipeline was successfully triggered. Definitely it was like copy paste from the existing template, but this is how you can customize the things. For example, if for your Django application you need to run some specific task or whatever, you can just open and edit pipeline with this name, put the things whatever you need, and customize everything. For example, if you want to remove Sonar, you can remove Sonar. If you believe that your Python task for build stuff rely on Poetry or any other framework or tool, you can put this stuff here as well. So you can customize everything what we have here. Definitely this pipeline can fail because again, it's not aligned with the approach which we're using for this specific task. But we can update it, we can remove unnecessary steps and like make this pipeline working. So what we can remove is, for example, we have a failing, for example, step which is update build number. Yeah, so we can review what step does it mean for the base Python code. If we don't need this code, we can just say like we don't need it and remove it. We also need to check maybe it is used here somewhere. Yeah, as you can see, it depends, like the security step depends on the step we just remove. So we can just update this stuff and say like, okay, you can run after get cache stuff and save this pipeline, and again return back to the UI and retrigger this pipeline and again, and as you can see that this step was removed. Definitely you can, in such case, you can like update anything, yeah, for your code base and align to your specific logic. We can also do, we can remove, for example, build stuff, push stuff, and let's keep only Kanika. Yeah, so we won't just to rely on this Docker file just to build the stuff without any specific platform configurations. We can do the same. Yeah, so we can see that the build is failed, which is expected because you see, like we just expecting that the build stuff is going to be implemented in this way. And this is not, if it's not true for your specific framework, we just remove or update this step. But let's just remove the steps. Okay, we agreed that we don't need build steps. So let's remove it. Let me make it more readable. Let's like 10 dd remove it. We also don't need like this one. We can actually yeah, I have some reference to this step I've just removed, so I need to ensure that I clean up everything. So again, let's remove like 15 dd. Now we need to remove this one, and this one. Then we need, yeah, as you can see here, we have a like stuff with build. Let's replace it with get cache, for example. Get cache. This is the next one. What we else can remove? Let's leave Sonar. For example, just to understand how the things are going with the code quality for this specific repository. Let's also remove this push stuff. It can be like 15 dd. We also don't need this. We also remove this, and now remove this. Let's save. There is some reference to this pipeline, so let's check again. Let's remove here 20dd. Undo. No, we need 20, it's too much. Okay. And here let's put here like run after get cache, and let's find everywhere like build where it can be here as well. So yeah, it should be run after push, but let's cache, since we're going to remove. Let's find out whether we have any other build reference. No, that's it. Let's save it. Now let's remove push stuff. Now let's go and find the push stuff. Push to 0, let it be, but let's remove this one. It's going to be run after sonar, so it's okay if we are just remove this component. And again, here we have cache. Let's check that there are no other push reference. Yeah, it is here. So let's run it after, for example, let's run it just for the sake of simplicity. Let's run it after get cache stuff. Just getting cache and just saving cache. Let's find the push. No other push steps are present. So we're saving. Now let's return back to our faith pipeline and rerun it again. So let's clean some of those pipelines, but let's keep them just to see iteratively how we achieve our goal. Again, building, as you can see, no build, no push stuff. So we're not using pipey repositories or whatever, just for simplicity, but keeping Kanika build, some security checks. Let's try sonar. Maybe it will pass, but if it will fail, then we can also disable it as well, just for the first step of onboarding repository. Okay, sonar scanner is in progress. Yeah, we see that we need to add some exclusions for our sonar scanner. Yeah, so our deploy templates repository should be skipped in order to not produce these issues. This is also possible, so we can change the configuration of our code. But again, security is running. We have some CDX GAN check as well. So sonar is failing. Yeah, so let's then remove it for now, just for sake of simplicity. So dd. Okay, let's check maybe no other dependencies here. Sorry, sonar. Okay, save it. Okay, yeah, so Kanika is building stuff because, again, those file contains everything which is required, like to build the application and to produce this artifact. So we can wait a little, but definitely it will fail since sonar step is fail. So we can just rerun another pipeline which is going to be successful. If we are talking about the sonar, then definitely you need to analyze what was the cause of those fails. If it is like here, we can add our deploy templates to the exclusion in order not to have these issues. But if you have, you can also go in to check other possible issues with this application, again with the sonar instance. Yeah, so we have here like expected issues, like critical issues. Yeah, we need to reload our SonarQube instance, but let's keep it for now out of today's discussion. Let's concentrate still on building the stuff. So yeah, this pipeline is failed as expected because of Sonar. Now let's return back to the pipeline which we expect to be succeeded. By the way, we can also track the status of the component as well. Like for example, we can see that there are some issues with the dependencies of this code base. Again, this is out of the box today discussion, but this is what you have from the day zero when onboarding some code base on the platform. Okay, for the Kanika, as you see from our previous step, that it requires some time because we need to install a lot. But as soon as these applications will be ready, we can actually try to deploy it. So we can go to environment. I didn't finish like deployment stuff, so it's not here. But okay, let's EDP robot and let's call it sk EDP GitOps. I'm going just to provision GitOps repository, which is a mandatory part for environment provisions. Yeah, so this repository can be used to customize deployments depending on environments. Okay, let's create environment while our pipeline is building our artifact. It's going to be our Django application. We're going to deploy artifact from this branch. We need, okay, we can skip like promote, no promote for today's discussion. What is going to be, this is going to be demo, dev stage, trigger type. Let's do it manually. Let's deploy without automation tests. Let's just keep the things simple. So the application, the environment was successfully created. This is our single application. Again, it is not deployed yet because, but again, we already have image produced, so we can return to pipeline and to see, yeah, this pipeline was succeeded and we have all the required version. So this version number 4 is ready, and what you can see here, here it is. So let's deploy it. Again, this is the first shoot without any updating any changes in your code base. We just pick some code base from somewhere, build it, and trying to deploy. So it might fail or might pass. Let's wait a little. We can also go and to check, for example, in Argo CD instance. Let me clear. Let me clear these and let me select my project. Here it is. Yeah, we have some issues. Yeah, so we can check the logs, like some issues with the application itself. But again, this is how you can get custom framework or language or any other stuff and deploy it on the platform. That's it from my side. Thank you for watching and goodbye.